All right, we are live. So yeah, that is definitely real. Maybe we we should probably do a video on that actually. That
Yeah.
whenever you first start, don't go blow all your money on like trinkets and pins and shirts and you know,
And over advertising, that's one of the things too. It
yeah,
sounds weird to say, but like we'll get into it.
yeah,
Excuse me,
yeah.
we'll definitely get into it.
So what's up, everybody? So this is my new friend Alvin Davis, and this is cool because he's the first one that I've had on my list that was a recommendation from somebody else. So I don't know him other than the 20 minutes I talked to him yesterday.
Like a
It was
referral
yesterday,
based
right?
business.
Was it yesterday or was it the day before? I don't even remember now.
It was. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday.
Yeah, okay. So it
Hmm.
was yesterday, right? And then we tried to do this earlier in the day, but both of us have kids. Well, you got a son and one on the way, right?
Yeah. Definitely. So mine was running around and whatnot, and he wanted to go play in the mud, and it's just one of those things that you kind of got to do.
Right.
You know, keep
Yeah.
them.
So I actually have another page that I'm going to get back going in a little bit called New Dad Observations. And one of the one of the things that I've realized, when you're growing up, or when your kids are growing up, there's a lot of reasons not to say no. You know what I mean? Like, just because you're tired is just because you don't want to do things or whatever.
Yeah.
That's no reason to tell your kid, no, I'm not going to play with you because daddy's tired. I mean,
Right.
maybe if it's like the fourth day of that, maybe
Yeah.
you can
Yeah. Like
cut
take us a
yourself some
nap.
slack. But
Let's go
yeah,
take.
and it's like, like I took my girls to the park today, and it's like I didn't really want to, but it's like, they've been cooped up in the house. It's been like cold and rainy. It's good weather. It's like, why are we not going to the park? So we're going
Yeah.
to the park, dang it.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. You got one on the way, right?
Yeah, it's good thinking because my thought is to kind of always look at it from the kids' perspective. They don't know you tired, you know what I mean? They
Yep.
just know, hey, I kind of got the itch to go outside and do some stuff. You the
In the mud.
authority, yeah, man,
Yep.
take me, let's go, and
That's
come.
it, man.
Yeah, it keeps you young though,
Yeah.
keep you guys. I think.
Yeah. Although it's kind of weird. I definitely feel my age, but you know,
Oh
it's still,
God,
I guess it keeps me young mentally, right?
man, it makes you not want to work out. I'll tell you that because I spend a lot of my energy running around and stuff to where when it's time to hit the gym, I'm just kind of like,
Oh
not
yeah.
today, bro.
And it's definitely a mental thing too. There's such a tie between your mental health and your mental state and your physical state. And if you're exhausted mentally, your body is just totally exhausted.
Yeah, definitely. It's easy to shut it down. That's why I think like getting up early and working out is the best way. Like before you start your day,
Mm,
just kind of
that's
suck it up,
man.
get it out the way. So no matter what, you've already done it, is out the way before you go through your day. Because if let's say you work a 8 hour, 9 hour day, you've been driving around, dealing with people or whatever it is you do, and then you come home, it's 5 o'clock, you gotta cook, deal with kids. You know what you're not
Hmm.
gonna do?
Work,
Not working out, bro. It's
bro.
not
I'm
happening.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I feel like you just kind of punched me in the gut because I feel like really convicted now. Like, oh god, he said it.
Man, take
Mm.
30 minutes,
But
30
but you're
minutes in the morning.
you're totally right though, and actually, I never really thought about that either. That's probably a reason a lot of people do work out in the mornings because they know by the end of the day they're going to be mentally just shot.
Yeah.
Um, huh?
It's a different type of person, man, that could I mean, I don't know, I guess it depends on different factors like what kind of work you do and stuff, but you're a real beast, man. If you every day after work, after
Yeah,
kids, just like I'm going to get it for an hour and a half. Like
yeah, no
kudos to
doubt,
you.
no doubt. I say this as it's more of an excuse than a reason, I admit, but one of my problems is I have a 30-minute commute minimum, so like 30
Mm,
minutes to the plant, 30 minutes back at a minimum, and it's like I got to leave my house at like 5 o'clock to get there from where I need to. So
yeah,
like, I'd have to get up at like 4 or 3:30 to go to the gym. I was like, "Ee,"
yeah.
you know,
Get that P90, man, that P90X, that X3s, where's that?
I did that for a while, and I mean, this, as much as anybody else. and we were going to talk about this when we get to the business part instead of the chit chat part. But you know, you're doing P90X, and what's going to happen? Your kid's going to be like, "Oh, Daddy, I want to do it too." And then when you're
Yeah,
doing like the kicks and the the swings or whatever, and then they grab your leg, and then you fall through a coffee table. You know, that's
yeah.
probably what would happen at my house.
That's exactly what happens in mine. So I completely get it. Like I'm like at the pull-ups part. So I go,
Yeah.
go up and he stands underneath me. So I can't come down. So now I'm like,
Hmm.
my count is off, my reps off. I'm like, bro, you got me holding.
You
And then
know,
I
that
push up, he
actually
jumps on my back.
that actually might be a business idea right there. Like if you could do workout videos where children are specifically incorporated to make it harder. Like,
Ooh,
oh, Daddy, I'm not gonna let you come down from your pull up. Now what? You know, and you got to like hold it for 10 more seconds. You know that
might be on to something.
I know. Right?
Might be on to something.
Well, you know, apparently, so you guys don't know Alvin, but Alvin is another. Apparently, there's a slew of them out there, but he is another firefighter realtor, and so apparently, you guys are onto something. So you know, give us a little background on that. Like, you know, your story about how you became a firefighter is pretty cool. So why don't you tell us that, and why don't you tell us, you know, how you got into the real estate as well?
All right. So I'll start with the firefighter because for me, that's like my foundation of how I was able to do anything else. I didn't like grow up dreaming of being a firefighter. You know what I mean? Like it's just it wasn't something that was on my radar at all. But we were sort of the first somewhat inclination I had of it was it was post Katrina. Well, not really post, like during Katrina, I guess you could say. And we moved. We didn't lose anything in Katrina, like during the storm or anything like that. We got all our stuff. We moved to Baker, Louisiana, which is right by Baton Rouge, and we were getting settled in. Everything was fine. And then one trip went to Walmart. Quick 5 minute trip. Come back, the entire house was in flames. Yeah,
Whoa.
literally. Yeah. So um my first thought was like as a kid, I think I was maybe 17 at the time, and like watching my mom cry like hopelessly. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
nothing you could do. Like you don't know
Yeah.
anything. You're not going, like you can't go in. Like there's nothing you could do about it. And then the firemen there did a great job, came in, knocked it out. And the one thing that they did was they made sure to save like anything that they could. So they got like her family pictures and stuff, any little keepsakes and stuff like that that they could like preserve or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was the first time, like, oh man, they really made a difference in, like, when somebody's losing everything, what they did actually made a difference.
Right.
So that was the first. I would like to think of myself as somebody who like wants to do good and help people and stuff
Yeah.
like
So like they didn't just come and put out the fire. They like took care of you.
that. Yeah, yeah. It because like any profession is weird to say, like every fireman isn't a good fireman, or
Right.
every,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So those guys came and did a really good job of, hey, we're gonna do everything we can, not to just, all right, boom, knock it out and get out of there, but like
Right.
thing we could do for you in this moment, we gonna try our best to do. And I really appreciated that, but that stuck. But it still didn't make me want to be a fireman. You know what I mean? Like I had plans to like go to college. I wanted to be an accountant. So
Really interesting.
yeah,
What made
yeah.
you want to do that?
I I felt like I was good with numbers. I always was good in math, and was like, oh, you'll go to college, get a degree, and then you'll always have a job, you know. And when I got to college, I realized that like I hated like I hated accounting, and like I like started the classes and I was like, man, this sucks. I definitely don't want to do
Yeah.
this for the rest of my life. So college for me was like learning things that I didn't like, things that I did like, learning more about myself and
Yeah.
experiencing stuff like that. So I did not do well in college. I did not do well. I had a lot of
Where did you
personal
go? Okay.
ULL, Lafayette, Louisiana. It was awesome time. I enjoyed Yeah, it was too awesome of a time
Right.
actually. Like I have great friends and relationships and stories and stuff, and I love everything about going to UL and my college experience. Um, but I didn't accomplish what I set out to do. So when I left college and came back home, my mom was like, "Hey, if you're gonna be home, you need to figure out what it is figure out what it is you're gonna be doing." I'm
Mm.
like 21, 22 at the time, maybe, and I started doing fence work, like commercial and residential fences
Yeah.
for like minimum wage.
Say
Like
that'll make you decide you want to do something else real quick.
oh my gosh, it was the worst. It was the worst. Getting up at like 5 in the morning. I got sensitive skin. I was out like in the elements. You know what I mean? My face breaking out. We working 12 to 14-hour days. I'm hauling stuff, my back hurting for like $7 an hour. Like this sucks. Like it's gotta be a better way. And I did that. I did that for like a year and a half.
Oh, come on,
Yeah,
man.
like a year and a half. And then my
Man.
mom again had to sit me down. She was like, um, not actually, I'm gonna give her and the girl I was dating at the time credit. She was like, "You need to get this sorted out, man." Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be dating me if like this is all there is to it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Goodness
Yeah, yeah.
gracious.
I gotta, man. Look, she put me on alert.
See,
Was like, good looks don't go far
I
enough.
say none of that true love foolishness. You
Oh
know,
no, no, this is the real world we dealing with, man.
you either bring home the money or we're done.
You gotta bring more to the table. So at that point, I remember my mom tried to. This was previous to the girl I was dating, but my mom tried to set me up with somebody, and her brother was a fireman. He actually, I think he still is a fireman in Baton Rouge. Brian may know him. I'm not sure. You know how the
Apparently,
world
Brian
split.
works for every doggone fire station in the 20-mile radius, so he probably knows.
Bro, Brian is the hardest working fireman I know. Like, might be the hardest working person I know. So
Well, I tell you what, it's always encouraging to me when somebody finds their calling in life, and they're doing it and they love their job, and that's so rare nowadays, man. It's so rare to find someone like Brian who, who wants to be. I mean, that's a tough job too, right?
yeah,
But that
definitely.
the way God made him with what he is doing is just perfectly
Oh yeah,
matched.
perfectly. And timing is everything also. Which I could kind of dive into a little bit more
Yeah,
with my scenario because so what ended up happening was her brother was a fireman and kind of giving me the spill a little bit on what to expect, and it's not is extremely like challenging, like physical and stuff, because you really don't know what you don't know, right? Um, so I kind of was like, okay, let me look into it. And when I started looking into it, everybody was just like, man, it's super difficult to get on, like with a fire department. You got to test, you got to work, like you got to take all of these, like all of these different type of. There's a lot of hills that you have to climb before you can
sure.
actually be hired.
Yeah, I
As a
mean, I mean, they don't want just any, Joe
yeah,
Blow coming to a career where people's lives depend on it, right?
exactly. So it kind of like it makes you fear it a little bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Right.
like, do I really want to take that step or not? So then, what really like kind of set me off is a friend of mine. He became a fireman, right? And I love this dude, but it made me be like, if he could do it, I know I could do it. You know what I mean? If he could do it, I know I could do it. I
Right.
immediately started like taking the sign, like registering to take the test. And then fast forward, that's how I actually became a fireman.
And you're in Slidell, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes. I was living in Baton Rouge and intended on going there first. But how I wound up in Slidell was the testing, the civil service test that you have to take was scheduled in Slidell. So I take the test, and the woman was like, well, we're not really hiring, but you could put your scores in at multiple departments. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket.
Interesting.
So put it here. And they called back first and started the process. And everything's history from there.
Awesome, man. So
Yeah.
then, how long were you doing firefighting before you decided to go into realtor or realty, however you want to say it?
So I am this year made 8 years I've been a fireman now. And I've been firefighting. I'm firefighting. I've been a real estate agent for 4.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah,
so it
yeah,
didn't take you too long.
yeah, got a little time in. So as far as the agent side of it, like I told you before when we discussed it, I oddly enough, I always wanted to be a real estate agent, which, like, again, I don't know what kid dreams of being a real estate agent, but I always just admired the idea of buying and selling and communicating with people and property and just all of the value that came with that. And maybe that was the accounting part kind of speaking, because I know
Right,
I don't sit behind a desk, but realtors are like really involved and active, man, you make a difference. So that's like the key version of uh I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with the firefighter part of it, kind of wanting to help people and stuff like
right.
that. Yeah, so I'm 4 years in and rolling.
Has that have you always been the type to like have you always been a hustler type person, like
Oh
figuring
yeah.
out ways to make money and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. So I will say I won't do anything. Um,
Like fence
'Cause
building, that's over, right?
well, yeah, I'm not. If I absolutely have to, I would, but I'm, I'm not. I take it back. I wouldn't. I take, it, I take it back. I wouldn't. I just literally
Just
just
done, huh? Yeah,
envision doing it. I would not do it. But yeah, I always had the figure it out mentality, go get it mentality. My mom was a single parent and worked like
mm,
3 or 4 jobs with 3 kids coming up. So there's no excuses to not go out there and figure it out.
yeah,
Um,
that's good, man.
yeah, and every way might not be um like the typical way or the easy way, but if you stay consistent, then you'll be able to navigate this world and get.
Absolutely. That I'm learning that so much right now. Like consistency is key. You
Mhm.
know, you if you're not consistent, you'll quit before you start getting good. You
Oh
know what
my
I
God.
mean?
Yeah.
And you got to start getting good before you can start making money, right?
Right.
Or before you can start contributing value or start, whatever that end goal is or whatever you're doing. If you quit 2 months into it, 3 months into it, you're not good yet.
Yeah.
You don't know how good you can be if you quit, and if you just stay consistent and make whatever progress you can day in day out, day in day out. Some days you'll make a lot of progress, some days you'll make a little.
Yeah.
um but yeah, man, absolutely, consistency is key.
It's definitely challenging. My first year of real estate, I I don't think I closed one transaction
Oh wow.
the entire first year. Not for lack of effort. I had I mean, one first you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
So you kind of get started, and then I started with more of a smaller company. So we were doing trainings and stuff like that, but it's still, it's a process as far as like getting your
Yes.
name out there, staying consistent with people, following up, giving, you know, the right information, because you could ruin a reputation also by giving somebody the wrong information or lying to somebody because you don't know. There's a
Right.
lot of things you could do to tarnish your business. So I took the approach of um not necessarily better safe than sorry, but I wanted to make sure, because I care about all my clients.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I did a really good job of making sure they were prepared and set up and, in a position where when we do get ready to look for homes, you won't put a bunch of money into something and then it
Right.
doesn't pan out. But
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. And what you said about not lying to people, as of I hadn't been in the self business world for very long, but I see like how easy it is to try to lie and manipulate people, and
yeah,
it's like I see now why like some people are turned off by other people, and why some people like make a lot of money and then they no one wants to deal with them after that and things like that.
Yep.
Integrity, man, that's just key. And treating people like not just a number, but treating people like a person, and treating people like if you were trying to sell a house to your mom or your brother, or whatever family member, pick one. Treating
Mhm.
people like that. I mean, that's you might not blow up your first year, your first month, or whatever, but that's where the consistency piece comes in, right? You just keep doing the right thing, day in, day out, day in, day out, and then eventually you'll be so good at it, it won't feel like work. you know
I played a long game, man. I played a long game. If you do the right thing by one person, that one person will tell somebody else. You know what I mean? And then that
yeah,
person will tell somebody else. And then, 5 years in, 10 years in, you have a solid reputation, and a foundation built on things that you
right.
know are sustainable because you know you did the right thing by people.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, and you haven't burned a bunch of people in the process, and you've maintained
Oh,
that reputation. And
yeah.
people know Alvin is someone that'll, he'll help you in the house fire, and then he'll help you get a new one.
Yeah.
That's you know
Yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about the realtor thing. So that's I really hate to call it, I hate to call it a side gig for you, because I know you're not treating it as a side job. This is your own business, essentially, right?
Right,
So
right.
you're treating it as, I'll just call it another income stream, even though
Mhm.
it's not your main income stream like firefighting is. So, how are you able to, with being a realtor specifically, how would you say that has fit what you were looking for as far as an additional stream of income? You know, for one, it can't interfere with your primary job, right?
Right,
Then for two, it has to be worth it. You have to make enough money to where it's worth it for you to do it.
right,
Then for three, it can't interfere with family life and things like
right.
that. So how would you say that being a realtor has helped you, check all those boxes?
To be honest, um, it's been perfect for me, which is
Come on,
which is
man.
which is weird. It's been perfect because previous the hustler side we was talking about, I worked maybe two or three jobs previous to doing the fire department. I mean, not the fire department, previous to doing real estate in addition to the fire department. So as far as the scheduling, I would work the fire department, immediately leave the fire department, go to another job for like
Wow.
8 to 9 hours, and then leave that and then do something else.
Wow.
So right. So it kind of put real estate more on my mind because the thing about real estate is on my time. Like I'm already committed to giving time to it, but like now I can, okay, if I don't want to do anything today, I don't have to do anything today. But if I want to commit and say I'm locked in for the next 90 days or whatever it is, I can commit that kind of time. So the bright the benefit to that also is that when I was working, let's say 40 hours a week at a side job, and it paid, even if it paid $15 an hour, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
$15 an hour, 20 to 30 hours a week, making somewhere between, let's say, $500 to $700 every 2 weeks, right? That's only $1,400 a month. So,
Yeah.
but I have to
All
put
those
in
hours, right?
almost 60 to 80 hours, you know what I mean, in the 2 week span to make that. So that's 120 to 140 hours a month extra. That's a lot of hours for, to be honest, minimal pay, where
Absolutely.
I could take a third of that time, possibly put it towards real estate, investing in my people, and triple what I make on, selling a home. So I
Right.
just looked at it as, if I did, and I still look at it this way, if I can do one or two homes a year, one to pay for the fees that it costs me to be in real estate, and two would be everything, all the extra income I would get from
Right.
doing another job. So anything over that is land yet for me.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Like I don't need real estate as far as like the income portion of it. It's nice to have, don't get me wrong. But like I don't depend on it because
Yeah.
of the fire department. So it just honestly it just makes everything so much better. Like I've become completely carefree with like my life and my family and being able to do
Man, that's
things.
great.
Yeah, because they understand the value of it, so I'm allowed to put the time into it, and I want to because it's
Yeah,
something
that's
I
big,
want to
man.
do. Yeah, and it's not the stress of having somebody just breathing down my neck at a job saying, you got to be in at this time, or did you leave early, or what if your kids got a game, but you got to
Right.
work. I'm not doing that for a side job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for real, man. That's, you know, you're a family man. I'm a family man. That's why I have such a big passion for helping people start their own home-based businesses. And spoiler alert for the future, Kingdom Gold is actually going to grow into that. It's going to be, I don't, I guess I actually kind of figured this out today. I think it's going to end up being my life's calling, actually. Um,
good.
so Kingdom Gold is going to be a place where if people need a home-based business, we're going to have like steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for people to pick. You know, let's
Mhm.
just say we'll have starting off three different options. Like we have this option where we have people that can support you, this one, and then it'll be just like shopping at Walmart where they can just go, pick that business up and get going.
Yeah,
Because that, how many families could use an extra, let's say, $1,000 a month?
right,
That's
definitely.
that is huge.
Yeah,
That's 50 grand, or I'm sorry, that's $1,000 a week. That's $12,000 a year, right? It's eight
yeah.
o'clock. Come on, man, help me out.
Yeah, nah, it's fine. $12,000 a year, realistic, if you think about it, that's most that some people make in a year.
Oh yeah,
You know,
and just what you said
that's
about like all the hours you have to put in to get that 12 grand. If you can have your own home-based business where, for me it's like you can work it wherever you want in the world, as
mhm,
long as you have internet and a laptop, or even internet in your phone, you can work it. If you're like me and you have trouble sleeping, you can wake up and get on it.
mhm,
If you need to take off early, take off early and go to your kids,
right,
dance recital or ball game or whatever, you can do that. And, then you get, tax breaks that companies get, you
right,
get those tax breaks as well.
complete
So
freedom.
that's why I'm so passionate about it, man. You can help out families and really generations and communities and, really the world when it gets big
Yeah,
enough. Um,
definitely.
so that's why I'm so passionate about it, man. That's why that's why I like having guys like you on that
Mhm.
are doing that. You're doing that for your families and you're doing it for yourself. You're growing, you're learning, and I told Brian this because he said he's only been in it for about 8 months, but it's going to be cool to see, So you've been in it 4 years, and it's going to be
Yeah,
cool to see where you're at in like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
my
Um,
goal is to double every year.
Come on, man.
I had a I had a good year this year. The goal is to double every year, and I push Brian to have those same kinds of goals because they're doable.
Yeah,
What I mean, they're doable. And even if you fall short of, let's say, doubling your
right,
business or something like that, like that's
right.
still
50% is still pretty good, right?
yeah, it's still pretty significant.
Right. Well, that's actually going to be that was going to be one of my questions later, but we'll talk about it now. So, what are you doing to grow your business to the next level? So, you said you wanted it to go up double. What are you actively doing right now to make sure your business hits that double mark every year?
So there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but personally, what I do is I stay tapped into my market and what works for me. I do really well with buyers. And so I put a lot of focus into that. So if you're selling your home, obviously I can help assist with that. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing and I'm really good at that also. But
Right.
a lot of my clientele and a lot of the people that need what I provide are buyers. So I just really focusing on the people that need me, and then I try my best to do like a really good job with them. And then really everything I've done has been like word of mouth. I use social media, which I need to get better at doing, um, because it's a huge tool.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of my stuff is literally through referral base. Everybody I know, I try my best to do an awesome job with them, and then like let that grow from that. And so far, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
I have some things in the works that I'm, you know what I mean. I'm kind of I'm trying to see how they're gonna plan, pan out. But as of right now, what I actively do is just focus on giving my complete attention to, what what my what my clientele is, basically what's pumping my business.
So bring that to a practical level. Like, are you like reaching out to people that are trying to buy, or is it like just word of mouth and you wait for them to call you? Are you doing any
So
type of advertising, or like how are
so
you how are you
I
doing that?
So I actively, like, I call, like, I don't forget my people. If, let's say you're somebody who, you need to do some work on your credit, you know what I mean, and it might take you 6 months.
Oh, I
Like,
got you. Yeah,
I
like
might hit, I might, hey, it's been 2 weeks. I know you might not got this thing done, but if we do X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean. This might help speed up your
yeah, that's
process.
cool, man.
Or I research a lot of stuff also. So if somebody may not be in position now, I'll look up, different programs we may have, or different credit repairs for certain people, and try and get them involved in that. um I'm really good at communication. So, like, I let that be my tool as far
Yeah,
as reaching out to. I'm not ashamed either. Like, I'll go to other brokers, other agents, and say, "Hey, man, what are you doing? How have you been, you know, growing your business, or what programs do you know about?" And I try to take that, and maybe my client at
yeah.
the time may not know, but they say, "Oh, I got a friend that's been doing this, and then, like, I'm not afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
So I just actively communicate.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because I did a video where I said this. It takes a certain amount of humility to run a business. Because there's some people that are like, oh well, I don't want to go talk to them because they're whatever, and they might think I'm stupid or some kind of unprofessional or whatever. So I'm just not going to go ask them advice. Where me, I think one of the greatest gifts God has given me is that I'm not afraid to look stupid. I'm, and this isn't even like self-deprecating at all, but like, I kind of feel like I look stupid all the time. So to me, it's like, what's the difference? So I'm not afraid to ask questions or go talk to people. And like I said, there's a certain amount of humility that you have to have in order to run a successful business. But there's also like a certain amount of confidence that you have to have, which is also kind of weird. Um,
Yeah,
because like you have to go talk to somebody confidently to go
right,
ask their advice, but that at the same time you have to be humble enough to do whatever they tell you, you know
right.
or humble enough even just to go ask. So it's kind of weird, but that's cool that that's the kind of stuff that you do.
Yeah, I think there's a like, I played sports in high school also. I think with business, you also have to have like a competitive, like, spirit to you, like a
Mhm.
competitive nature about it, where if you see someone that's killing it, right, in
Right.
whatever, in your field, um
Yeah,
like,
what's that guy doing?
yeah, it's nothing wrong with mimicking whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
That's, if that's what made them great and you want to be great, you mimic the things that great people are doing.
Right.
One of and it excuse me for what I'm saying, but there's a lot of great realtors. One of the ones that I follow and look at all the time, Melissa McClendon, man, she's huge on social media, but she is a
Okay.
beast. She is oh my gosh, a beast to, like, another degree. So I just kind of watch her, and she's from New Orleans and stuff like that. So I just kind of look at the things that she does, and there are clearly other realtors also, but top of my mind is one of the ones that I thought
Yeah.
about. But I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
there's one that so her name's Lee Moss. I hope she doesn't mind me dropping her name, but her dad and my dad were good friends, so I've known her since we were kids. And I'm like, right now I don't know her like super well, but I know she's just slaughtering real estate, man. She's kind of like, oh, sorry, that's my phone. She's kind of like Brian. She found the thing that I actually want to have her on as an interview because I think she'd be fantastic.
mhm,
She found real estate and she just that was just her thing, and she is just destroying. She's selling houses left and right. It's like
100%
I didn't
commit.
even know there was that many houses to sell. Like I thought Baton Rouge was totally out of houses, period. And here you are selling like 50 of them in a week.
You'd be
Um,
surprised.
so Lee, good job if you watch this.
Yeah.
but
Shout
uh,
out
but
to
yeah,
Melissa. Jeez.
and the thing about her, I know there's some mentality and there's some way she thinks that is helping her and whatever drive that she has. She's, you know, she, uh, she didn't come out of the womb being a realtor, right? So she had
Right,
to
right.
learn it. But there's something in her mind that is just, that is just
I
gold,
get it.
is helping her, and that's the stuff I need to learn because obviously I am not doing that.
I think
So
I think a lot of motivation for people is some of the like their why, their whys.
yeah,
Um I think the why is for whoever it is something different, but for the most part I think it's pretty basic stuff. Like the whys for most people are what your family, yourself, you want to give to others and stuff like that. So once you commit to that, I think following up and doing everything else is pretty
yeah.
easy.
Yeah, it certainly helps for the times that you get discouraged, and like you said, you didn't sell a house for a year. It's
Hmm.
like I can imagine where that was discouraging, but you had a
Right.
you had a strong why to keep going, and now you're doing well with it, right?
Right. Yeah. My first year, me and my I don't even know if we were married at the time. I can't think. Me and my wife were going through a really tough time with some personal stuff that we had went through, and I kind of put the business on, on hold. Like, we had lost a kid, so kind
Mm.
of like, okay, let's prioritize.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean? Let's prioritize. So then like the year went by, things were getting right, and I'm like, okay, no, like I know I can do this.
Yeah,
So now it's time to go ahead and kill it.
yeah.
And since then, it's kind of been balls to the wall.
Is there anything else that you thought like you might have done or that you wanted to do, or um, is there, if not, let's just say, if not real estate, what's something else you might have done?
So that's really tough to be honest because I feel I could do anything. Like I'm confident enough to be like, if you put me anywhere, I could figure it out, be good at it. So that's that. But a couple of the things that we're working on right now, like I said, I have a podcast coming up, me and a good friend of
Okay.
mine. Um, and most of the things that I'm working on now are just things that I have a passion for. Not that I want to make any money off them. If money comes, obviously it'll be awesome.
Right.
Right, you know what I mean? But it's more so to be able to like just be in tune with myself and do things that make me happy, bring me joy. Because when you're happy about what it is you're doing, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
tend to put more effort into them, you care about them a lot more, and
And the
then
quality comes out a lot better too.
exactly. Exactly. So right now I'm dropping a podcast which will be January 2021 called The Other Angle. It's with me and my best friend Jeremiah Smith,
Okay.
and that's I'm
What's it going to be
excited
about?
about everything. So we you might not. I'm kind of keeping it a certain
Yeah,
level of
yeah, that's fine.
professional right now, obviously, but we just touch
Give me
on
all the details now.
yeah right right. We just touch on like a whole bunch of topics and not afraid, I guess, to touch on them in ways that a lot of people won't say, because you might think something, but somebody it's like, it's not politically correct to say that, or you might get, backlash or whatever you might get from saying it.
Yeah.
It's really just a platform for me and him to be able to openly voice our opinions on a multitude of topics, whether it's sports, music, politics, social
Cool.
media, kids, family,
Yeah.
relationships, anything. Just somewhere to feel free. And I have a lot of thoughts in my mind, and I need a place to get them out.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty
cool.
much it.
I think there's some beauty in it too. That's actually part of why I started doing Facebook Live videos. Is you have an idea in your head, and then when it can be attacked by, let's just say, 5,000 people,
Mm,
and maybe only two of them attack it, well, then it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm right on this. But
yeah,
then when you get like totally destroyed on something, it's like, maybe I
make
need to
you
rethink it.
evaluate.
Or it's just like, it's like, no, all you people need to rethink.
Yeah,
So to me, there's good and bad with social media, but to me, I think that's one of the good things is that if you can talk, and if you can speak openly about it,
mhm,
that's the cool thing about a podcast, is that you don't get censored and you don't get, all that good jazz. And
right.
um, when you can talk openly about something, and you might not even know what you're saying necessarily, or you're just trying to, formulate an idea. um,
Yeah,
so that's cool. I'm glad you're doing that. And it's uh actually, I'm going to do an interview with another buddy of mine that he started a podcast, so maybe I can get him on before y'all get started, and maybe you
yeah,
can learn a
yeah.
thing or two.
Man, I'm telling you, it's so much. It's just so much fun, to be honest. Like, excuse me. For me, it's just being able to, like you said, kind of work through ideas and be able to speak in a way where people may agree, people may not agree with
Right.
what it is you're talking about, but sometimes it just eats us up being having to keep things inside. You know what I mean? And a lot of my
Yeah.
friends know me. They know I'm gonna say what's on my mind. You know what I mean? It's
Mm,
just I'll be the voice for the people that you know. I want to say it, but I'm not really sure how it's gonna go.
yeah.
Don't worry, I'll say it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll say it.
Yeah. That's
With
awesome, man.
respect to my job though, because I'm not trying to get fired from the fire department. So that I kind of gotta watch that a little bit
Right.
also. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Well, I'll well, I guess January 20 next year, right? So,
Yeah, January 2021 will be up and going, man.
and
It's
one of
exciting.
the things too, your first couple episodes, you'll probably have to figure out all the technical details too, like.
So I've been doing that now actually. We've been recording a couple episodes, shooting some videos just to kind of see what it's gonna sound like, see what it's
Mm,
gonna look like, be able to work through the kinks. Um just to like when January comes, we'll be legit and ready to go.
great, man.
Uh, I'm super diligent as far as like making sure things are done right and properly, and I don't like to waste my time, money, you know what I mean, energy,
Right.
effort, none of that. So when I say January 2021 we rolling,
Okay.
yeah, we could be good to
Yeah.
go.
I like it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to somebody who is who's been thinking to themselves, what if they came up to you and said, Alvin, let's just say I'm a school teacher, I'm a, whatever, maybe I'm a firefighter, maybe I'm a cop, maybe I'm a, an engineer, whatever. Okay, and they were thinking, I've always thought about real estate as a another source of income that I could do. I think I'd be good at it. What would you advise them on how to? I guess for one, not every opportunity is for everybody, right?
Mhm.
So, what would you tell them as far as like making sure that being a realtor is right for them? That they would, that they would be, I don't want to say good at it, but that they could
Mhm.
do it at least, and they could do it with excellence, um, or in how it would fit in with their lives. Like, what would you advise somebody who's just wanting to get started, and if they do find out that it would be a good fit for them, what are the next practical steps that you would advise them to go do?
Okay. The first thing I do is always with anything I ask somebody, what are they looking to get out of it? Like, are you looking to be a millionaire tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like what are your goals that you want to go this route for? Like, do you have any fear of dealing with people? Like, you know what I mean? Just to kind of get a
Mm,
feel for what it is they're trying to do. But as far as like the actual advice that I give is like anything, if you're interested in doing it, give it a shot. Like, it's only money at the end of the day. What you have to lose
yeah.
as far as like taking a shot on yourself. And I would recommend giving it a shot, going through the actual class. There's a lot of people that give the classes and stuff like that, but I went through Donaldson education. Donaldson.com. That's why I went to do my real estate school and stuff like that. It was for me. I'm a good self learn, like, self taught person. So I did everything online, kind of burned through it and stuff like that,
Mm.
and then kind of get into the field. You know what I mean? If you know someone, it's a lot easier. Also, if you know someone in real estate, because they're able to kind of help you avoid the early pitfalls and the early
Yeah.
mistakes that most people will make. So if you know someone that's like a broker or an agent, kind of pick their brains about it. Obviously, spend the money, go through the course, and if all else fails, do that first year. Do the first year, see if you can sell a home, make your money back. You'll always be able to help within that first year for the most part. If somebody knows you're in real estate, you'll be able to help somebody in the family, like a cousin, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, niece, my godmother, you know what I mean? Is always somebody, whether they're trying to rent, they were thinking about investment properties, they're thinking about building a home, buying land. There's so many different avenues that you could go into, to where in that first year, I would just say give it a shot and attack it. Go get
Right.
the
So what you're saying is it's almost, I, I hate to say guaranteed, but it's almost like if you work it legitimately, then you should at least recoup the losses of the education. Is kind of what
yeah,
you're
at
saying.
least break even for the most. Like you're at least break even, because I'm just thinking about it. If it's something that is on your mind or something on your heart that you're saying I want to try as another source of income, like why not give it a shot? But I'll say that with anything. It doesn't have to just be, I mean, I'll be honest. I'll say that it doesn't have to just be real estate. If you were to say right now, hey man, I think I want to be a juggler in the circus. I'll just be like, well, why do you want to juggle? Hey, go take the classes, go figure it out, go see if you like
Do
it.
they
See,
have those? Do they have classes for jugglers?
and maybe there's gotta be, and there's always YouTube.
That
You
is
can learn
also true.
everything on YouTube. Yeah, but I'm a really positive you can do it kind of person. So I'll never, if anybody says, hey, I wanted to get into real estate, literally my thing is, okay, why? And then say, I'll send them the link. Hey, here's the classes. This is how much it costs. When you actually order the class, let me know. Um, if you want, I could take you to interview brokers. If you know somebody, talk to somebody other than just me, because it's always good to have multiple forms of information, because
Yeah.
my story might be different from somebody else's. So get as
Plus, you
much.
got different markets too, right? Like, something
Exactly.
that might work really good, say in Slidell, might not work too good in Baton Rouge or Shreveport or
Right.
Austin or wherever.
Right. And then, like, not just like area markets, like your personal market could
Right.
be completely different. Like if you had a young, excuse me, a person with a bunch of young, family members that were just getting married, or starting families and stuff like that, then it might be the perfect time to get into that business, because you could help them what they're getting ready to do, start careers, they want to buy houses, they want to
Right.
invest. So your personal market could also make a difference in what it is, like the timing of when you
Right.
decide to get into real estate or not.
Yeah. So, do you have any other sources of income or side gigs or anything that you're working on right now? Or are you strictly focusing on firefighter and realtor, or what do you got going on?
Firefighter and realtor are my main focuses. The fire department puts me at a bit of a, like I say, a comfort where I know I'm gonna be okay.
Mhm.
And then the real estate for me, it's my passion. Like I'm really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I put a lot into that, and I see a lot of benefits from that. So like I said, I'm in it for the long haul. I'll probably in some form I'll be doing real estate like after I firefight, because it's not just for me. It's not just buying and selling. It's when my kids graduate, to be able
Yeah.
to say, okay, here's a couple properties, for you guys to kind of hold you down while you're in school, not in school,
Absolutely.
figuring out whatever it is you want to do. It's literally the key to generational wealth. I want to build, like I want to, not build my home. I'm saying I want to
Right.
get into being a developer and build. I do
Right.
want to build my home. That's coming also. But like,
Yeah.
a developer build. Why wouldn't you be able to build hotels and strip malls and develop
Absolutely.
apartment complexes and stuff like that? So how I look at it now, in my goal is in 5 years to triple what I make at the fire department, and I only could do that through real estate.
Yeah.
So I'm committed.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm all about tangible assets,
Hmm.
tangible. Um, you know, I'm going to do a video on this at some point. Maybe I can get some. What I want to do is get like, I want to get somebody who thinks way differently than me on this, but like,
Ooh,
I'm starting to rethink, the whole retirement thing. So
ooh,
for
that's a good
instance,
one.
the money that you're putting away in say like a 401k or something, or a
Hmm.
Roth IRA or something like that, you can't touch that money for 30 years, right?
Right,
And part of it is the discipline thing, like part of the reason that's like that is so people don't just go blow all their retirement money, right? Which is okay. But let's say you have someone that is super disciplined and they could use that, that 50,000, 100,000 to start a business or to buy a rental property. Well,
hmm,
now, as opposed to having all this money locked away in a retirement account, they
hmm,
have four, five, six, seven, eight different income streams. And now they don't even need a retirement account because those income streams are going to keep coming, going to keep
yeah.
coming.
That's
So
that's the idea, right?
exactly. So it's almost like, why am I retiring? Because I have all these income streams. Why do I need this ginormous 401k when
Hmm.
I have, 15 rental properties,
Right.
30, or, whatever else?
I think honestly, I think it would be better to have multiple sources of income that you have control over than
Bingo.
than relying on,
Oh yeah,
you know,
you're not worried about the stock market. You're not
uh,
worried about stupid government. That's why I got into gold and silver, right? It's because inflation, stupid government decisions. You're not worried about the global economy. You're not worried about all that stuff because you have your own economy, right?
right.
You have your own sources of income that are continuously feeding your assets and your
Mhm.
you bottom line. So
Right.
you don't need this thing that can do this and it can
Right.
stay flat for years and then go up for years and down. You don't need all that. So, and not to say that people shouldn't put money away strictly for retirement, but I just think I think we need to rethink that. I think the world has changed from 40 years ago or however long ago it was when retirement accounts came around. You don't just, cannot afford to just sit there during retirement and just live off of what you save. This is not
Right.
hibernation.
Right.
This is not you have to have multiple sources of income if you're going to have any real quality of life in the future.
Or either that, or you just have a ton of money. You know what
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
saying?
yeah, maybe if you have like 10, 12, $15 million,
Yeah, it's just like, I'm fine. But other than that, yeah, no, man, I agree that you need multiple sources of income. One, like you said, to be able to control that income, because if one stream is going, flat, you could, before it
right.
completely dies out, you could take that and convert it to something else, to maybe produce more, as opposed to just kind of waiting and
Well, you're at the
waiting to,
mercy of Wall Street and you're at the mercy of brokers.
yeah,
I mean, that's the point of financial freedom is that you're not at the mercy of anybody except,
yeah.
God, obviously, right? But, that's what I'm looking forward to is being able to get away from the rat race and get away from, you know,
Yeah,
that.
you don't want to get Enron.
Yeah. So, let's see. So, what would you tell, um, younger Alvin,
uh,
not so much like I guess in life in general or something like that, but what would you tell younger Alvin who's just starting out in real estate? What would you tell him to be more successful if you could?
oof. So we talking young Elvin that just started, or like high school Elvin? Because
We're talking more like young Alvin, who is an adult now, but
yeah,
he's starting to um,
figure it out.
he's starting out in his personal business venture. That's what we're talking about.
Um, mm, Man, that's a good question, to be honest, because like I
That's
thought
why I asked
about
it.
it. Right, I thought about it obviously, and then it's just kind of like, really, what would I tell myself? Have I don't want to say have more patience, because I was very patient in the beginning, but also at the same time be more driven and more active. Um, One of the things that I did early was I spent I spent a lot of money on things that I thought would be um would be helpful, as far as like advertising and stuff like that, without actually paying attention to like how the game was changing, or how the game was even being played at the time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I would say be more patient, in the sense of, like, I was excited when I got my license. So I was like, okay, I need cards, I need mailers, I need, you know what I mean? It was all
right.
of the things that I said that I needed. So when I say be patient, is like, don't be in such a rush to like blow your money on stuff. You know what I mean?
And and it's real easy to do that too. You get excited and um, you know, you can go overboard real quick from
Right,
where you're at because for one, no one knows who you are. No one cares who you are. No one
right,
cares if you're a realtor. No one cares if you have a business card because everyone has business cards.
exactly.
That yeah, you're dead on that.
Right.
I think
And
a little bit too. You're trying to figure out what to do, and you're trying to figure out like how you fit into this new world that you just jumped into.
right.
Um, so I think you're doing that just a little bit, like oh well, this is let me practice giving someone a business card. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
he didn't want a business card, he wanted a pamphlet. Well, let me go get a pamphlet. Just stuff like that.
yeah,
You can
yeah,
figure out a lot of little things, but yeah, when you start getting like 10,000 business cards and putting out flyers.
yeah. You can easily like, and then when those things don't work, you know what I mean? It's kind of like,
Yeah,
well, why aren't they working? You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of have to make sure where you putting your resources are, beneficial to what's going to produce income at the end of the day,
right.
right? And then as far as like being more active, I believe in momentum. You know what I mean? When you get it, you
Hmm.
got to keep it and keep it rolling. So I actually did have a lot of transactions in that first year that um kind of on that were ongoing, that I didn't follow up on as well as I should have.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like when you're building momentum, I tell younger Elvin, don't let it die. You know what I mean? Because who knows if I would have did things a little more active in that first year, as far as my community. That's why I'm so big on communication now. There's a million realtors, man. Like,
yeah,
if you don't answer the phone, or especially if you're new, you know what I mean? Or if you don't know and you take too long to get back with somebody, like, literally in 10 minutes, somebody could call somebody else and be like, hey man, what's this? You know? So just being more aggressive with finding solutions,
yeah,
and keeping the momentum going when you have it. That's probably what I would tell younger Alvin.
yeah, yeah. That's good, man. The the things you're not going to learn in a book and you're not going to learn from school, right? Those types of things.
Yeah, definitely. And I read a lot of books. Read a lot of books, man, and they tell you these things, and like, not saying that there's no place for them, because there definitely is. Um, but it's still, to me, learning what works for you, because each individual is different, each market is different, the people you come in contact with are different. Like, it's not so black and white sometimes. Like,
Right.
I mean, you just kind of got to maneuver and figure out what's your niche,
Yeah.
and then live in that space.
Yeah, that's good, man. Finding the place where you can contribute and where your skill set meets the market demand, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's big too, man. I mean, like I like real estate, like the idea of real estate. I want to have like rental properties one day, but being a realtor, I
Mhm.
know like I could do it and I could be good at it, but it's not like the fit for me. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not entirely what I'm passionate about, like the realtor side of it.
Right,
So
right.
I wouldn't do well with it, but so it's important that people find, but the reason you don't, the reason I know that is because I've tried a couple different things, right?
Mhm.
So and actually that's a good segue to our last question, since every time you do an interview like this, it doesn't feel like an hour has gone by, but hey, guess what,
Yeah,
it's gone by.
yeah.
It's cool to chat with like-minded people and people that are making waves and doing things, and so thanks for that for
Yeah.
sure.
I
That's
appreciate
a Yeah, that's a testament to your mindset that I like. Um,
it. Whatever
so
works.
yeah. So last question, what would you advise people right now who are, you know, not as financially stable as they could be, or maybe all this, COVID government lockdown foolishness, maybe it really hit them hard. Maybe they're kind of awakening to the fact that they need some extra thing going, whatever that is, real estate, second job, whatever, what would you advise those people to do to get started, to kind of break that shell of, or the glass ceiling, so to speak, of, getting out there, doing something for themselves, doing more than what they've done the previous years? What would you advise people to do to take that next step?
So I'm only speaking for what I think works. I don't want to say works for me, but what I think works. Um, you have to have, obviously you have to have a goal, and like I said, I would ask someone what it is that they want. Okay, let's get to the very basic form of what it is that we need. Do we need an extra 100? Do we need an extra 200? Um, or are we looking to start a business? Like, what is our goal? And then as far as achieving that, if let's say it costs $1,500 to get your real estate license, right? Let's say you did want to go into real estate, but you don't have those funds. Well, I would say you need to find a way to create those funds. So
Yeah.
do like, let's go get an overnight job, right? Let's sacrifice, go get an
You
overnight.
kind of mentioned that this earlier, not to cut you off, but you were talking about like, making it happen, finding a way to, because
Yeah,
it's just money, right? It's
yeah,
just money. At the end of the day, if it just sits in your bank account, it's not doing anybody any good. You got to have some for emergency, sure, but let's just say you had $3,000,
right,
and $1,500 for real estate school is half of that. That's half your savings, right?
right.
Well, you know, do it. That money is not doing anybody any good in your bank account. Take that money, go learn some more, go educate yourself, go learn a skill, go do whatever. Let go of that money that you're holding on to so tight. And I know it's tough because we work hard for our money, right?
Right.
But I'm learning, the tighter you hold on to it, the less the money's going to flow to you.
Yeah, you got to be willing to lose it. To be honest, scared money don't make none. You know, so like if you had 3,000, right, and you took 1,500 to go get your license, then just be super motivated to replace it. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like, take a chance on yourself. Like, bet on yourself. That's the best way to go. And for the most part, if you're willing to work, you won't let yourself down. I'm not gonna let me down at the end
right.
of the day.
Yeah,
So if you take that money and you're willing to do the work that comes behind it, like you said, at the very least, you could replace it and then go back to doing whatever it was you were doing before then.
yeah.
Um, but
That's
I
a good
think,
point.
yeah, I think you definitely should make a plan, and then by any means, now I won't say by any means because some people take that. I won't say by any means. Some people take that a little too literal. By any legal means.
Hey, bro, I got this stuff in this jacket.
Yeah, if it's yours, sell it. You know what I mean? If it's yours, get rid of it. Um, like it's only stuff at the end of the day. It can be replaced,
Yeah,
but picking up a skill, like teaching yourself something that you could pass down to somebody else. Because if you learn it, then you could teach somebody else how to
right.
do it. That's first. And then you will also be able to replace it financially. Like you'll be able to bring in the income to replace what you then put out. And I just think that's the better way to go about doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good, man. That's that's what I want to do with this too, just try to help people realize that yeah, you might have a bunch of money in the bank, but all it takes is, you know, one swipe of the pen from Uncle Sam or one,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
I don't know, nuclear bomb from North Korea or something stupid or just
Yeah,
something. It's, one accident, one, job loss, one,
yeah,
COVID-19 that the government shuts everything down and nobody can work. It just we're kind of only one accident away from disaster if you don't have multiple income streams.
hmm
Um, so that's
And
what I'm
even
trying to.
better, an even better way of thinking about that is when something happens, because it's not a if, it's when, right? When something happens, what are
Yeah,
you made
that's
of?
good, man.
What are you made of to be able to go out there and make it happen to take care of
Yeah,
yourself and your family? Like that's the biggest thing. What are you willing to do? How hard are you willing to work to
right.
be able to like get these things
And
done?
that's the thing too. Exactly what you just said. Because like, let's say you waited till the pandemic to get something going. Well, it's too late. Chances are, I'll say
Yeah,
it like that. Chances are, you're not going to go find a second job if you've already lost your job. You know,
right.
so there's a book I've been recommended it. I get the concept and I need to read it. I got it on Audible, but it's by Zig Ziglar. He's some well-known sales guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably people that'll watch this and be like, "How does he not know who Zig
Yeah,
Ziglar is?" But he's got a book called "Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty."
mhm.
And obviously the concept is
Preparation
do
sound like.
do what you need to do, and he's specifically talking about networking, like building your network. Build your network of people before you need those people. But it's the
Mm-hmm.
same concept. Get your streams of income going now, like you. Okay, yeah, you said you're comfortable with your firefighter salary, but you wanted more, right? So then
Mm-hmm.
if God forbid, but something happens to the firefighter job, well, now you can go do real estate full time and then get another thing going, or rental properties, or just whatever your second set of income is,
Mm-hmm.
or your third set or your fourth set, or do it now. Do it
Yeah,
now while you are able, and don't just sit back in your comfort zone and say like, oh, it's everything's going to be okay. Well, like, because this 2020 has shown everybody.
man, come fast. And you don't have time to lose. You don't have time to wait. So
Absolutely.
be active, be aggressive, you know, and go after what it is that you want, because those same opportunities may not be there, you know.
Exactly.
So get it while you can.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Don't, you know, that's one thing I've really woken up to that I was doing, just like, here's my thing. This is me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was always like, we would have, say, maybe two, three, four different things break that were expensive, like, dishwasher, or, tires, something like that. So, okay, well, next year that's not going to happen. So, if I'm going to make the same amount of money, that thing won't happen. So I'll be good.
Right.
And Alvin, guess what happens? Guess what happens, Alvin?
Yeah,
You know,
man,
three or
dishwasher
four
broke
other
again.
different $1,000 things happen,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, how stupid have I been? Me personally, just thinking like that life is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Life is going to happen, and I need to be better prepared for it. And if I'm doing the same thing this year,
Right.
last year,
Right. So, to a perfect example of that, how I say I stay in contact with a lot of my clients. There's like a lot of my clients that I've closed business with this 2020. Oddly enough, was my best year. Obviously, we talked about doubling
awesome, man.
every year and everything.
Yeah,
Man, so many people, and I hate to say it this way, but if you were in position, you were able to take advantage in real estate of
absolutely,
2020. Like the market, as far as the interest rates and everything like that, were amazing for people, whether they were refinancing, buying homes. You know what I mean? It was awesome. So a couple of my clients that I had spoken to, um, let's say over a year ago, and said, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z for you to be ready to buy a home, right? For those people that's kind of talking about the things that you did, if they would have waited, right, and not jumped on the ball to do those
Yeah,
things when 2020 hit. And granted, it was terrible for a lot of people, but if you were prepared, then you were able to go in and take advantage of some of the things that
absolutely, man.
happened in 2020. And that's
Well,
that's the
that's
key.
one of the things when I hear stuff like, "Oh, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer." And it's like, well, yeah, because they're better prepared to take advantage of things like this, right? Or they don't get totally wiped out from, so they have other streams of income, and there's no,
What's the saying? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You know,
yes, 100%.
so
And that's what I'm trying to do better about, and that's what I'm trying to wake people up about. We gotta prepare. We gotta get ready, man. The world is not always going to be, not that it's puppies and rainbows right now, but
right, right.
and especially financially speaking, but we
Mm,
got to do a better job, man. We can't. I'm God, it just kind of gripes me the more I think about it. Like this whole, save up forever until you retire, and then when you retire, you can live a halfway decent life, and hopefully you don't run out of money.
right,
God, that just
right.
it just is
Yeah,
infuriating me, man. It's like there's a better way, and it's like we have the internet now. Why are people still thinking like this? Why
yeah,
is this? I feel like this message is not getting out there. Like,
yeah.
why are parents still teaching this? Why are financial advisors, and why, maybe not all of them, but
Yeah.
why are financial advisors still saying this? And why are, I don't know who else,
Why are we plugging the same information?
man, and it bugs me because we're really setting our whole society up for failure.
Hmm.
We really are. And we're thinking our 401ks is going to be so big, just so big,
Yeah.
too big to fail, right? Well, all it
Inflation
takes,
alone a cut into those. You know what I mean? Like, you know, who knows what milk will cost in another 30 years, or
absolutely,
gas or whatever, just basic things, basic living necessities. Who knows what's gonna happen with the world 30 years from now? And you think, you know, 100,000 is enough, or 200,000 is
absolutely.
enough?
Or a
Even if,
million,
right, hypothetically, let's say you get your retirement at what, 55, right?
something like that. Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
55. Yeah. 55 and a half, I think,
55,
or something like that.
55, even if it's, depending on your job, those requirements may be different too. A lot of people on their jobs, only they'll work 30 years and only get what, 70%, 80% of what it was you were making while you were working.
Right.
So if you're gonna lose 20%, of whatever it was you were making, that's first. Then you don't know what the inflation is gonna be on top of that down the line. And if just what the economy is going to look like as far as the opportunities that are there. And then what if you live, let's say, okay, you got 200,000, 300,000. What if you live another 20 years?
Right.
You got another 30 years. Like, because if it's 50, you don't think you'll live to 85? Hopefully. But can you survive? How long can you survive
Right.
with
And, and not be a
100,000?
drag on your kids or your grandkids. And,
Yeah,
if,
nah,
God forbid, but if you have to go to a nursing home or some kind of
yeah.
facility,
Or
I mean,
medical assistance, like you getting older, who's gonna provide the treatment that you might need at that age and stuff like that?
absolutely, man.
It's nowhere near enough.
That's why I'm doing this, man. We have got to. There's a better way, Alvin. There's a better way to live than just hoping we save up enough acorns during the summer that when the winter comes, the squirrels need to get smarter too. They need to
Yeah,
find some trees that'll give them
yeah.
some food during the winter. Just and it just gripes me, man. It just really gripes me, and
I can see
I
it
really
really grinds your gears.
oh, bruh, it because I feel like I just feel like I've been lied to for so many years, and save, 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 save every penny you got. It's like, I mean, I could have had. So I'll be 35 next month. I could
Mhm.
have had, one, two, three other sources of income, but it was always like, no, I need to save. I need to be really conservative. I need to save for my retirement. I need my
Right,
401k to be this big, okay? Because when I'm 55 and a half, I need $3.5 million to last till I'm
right,
90, and I can only have and I can't spend too much money during those years because I
right,
have to make sure that it lasts till I'm 90. And if I live past 90, well then I guess I'm just screwed. But
right.
that's what I have to do right now. It's like,
And
bro, that is bull crap.
and there is a place for that. Don't get me wrong. There is a place for saving,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
preparing. It's just I think the way we should go about it, like kind of like you said, should be different. You know what I mean? I think we should be more aggressive in our youth while you can work and
Right.
be able to recuperate from losses. Like you can recuperate from a loss in your 20s.
Right.
You know, in your
Right.
like you can like if you if you're in college, like what I would tell young Alvin, start real estate like teenage Alvin, start real estate right out of high school. Right
Yeah.
out of high school. Like you can still go to college, you can still do all of those things you have to do, because you imagine like the amount of experience, knowledge,
Oh yeah.
wealth you have by the time you're 25. Oh my gosh, bro, it'd be ridiculous. By the time you made 30, if that's 10 years worth of experience in a field that most people make their millions anyway.
Right.
You be able to oh my gosh, it's just uh,
That's exactly why I get so agitated at this topic, And again, it's not that anybody like meant to lie to me or misguided me or whatever. It's just they
yeah,
didn't know, and it's
yeah,
because our society doesn't really do this. They think save, you just save, and hopefully nothing breaks and nothing happens. You just save, 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 save. You get this huge pot of money, and then you're carefree. And
right.
it doesn't work like that anymore. But I mean, to your point, yes, you have to have some retirement,
Mhm.
something. Okay, you have to have an emergency fund. You have to be
Version of the nest egg.
exactly. You have to have your nest egg, right? But don't just depend on that nest egg. That nest egg needs to be, and it just needs to be more balanced, right? I feel like I'm trying to get my hands in the camera. It
Yeah,
was always, save, 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 and no one ever told me I could start a business. No one ever told me about, additional streams of income, etc. And we just need to be more balanced, right? Don't save until you're 65, and then you've worked your whole life away, and you could have had other sources of
yeah,
income to help you later in life too.
definitely. I completely agree, man. Like I say, the fire department, I love it. Um, it's a great foundation. Um, the it literally allows me to do all of the things that I want to do. Um, but most firemen will tell you you won't get rich working at the fire
Right,
department. You won't get wealthy working at the fire department. You'll be good. You'll be comfortable. You'll have a good retirement. Well, hopefully you'll have a good
right, right.
retirement. You know what I mean? Um, but it's on you to do those little extra things to kind of put yourself in a position based on
Yeah,
what it is you want for your life, I guess.
yeah,
And kind of like we said the other day, if you find living, you know, average, I don't want to say average life because I guess that's perspective also.
right,
But if you're fine living at a certain level or whatever, then
right.
that's fine.
You
Like,
find where you're at. Yeah, knock
yeah,
yourself out.
kudos to you. But for those people that want a little bit more, be able to do a little bit extra, then you have to take it upon yourself to seize the opportunities
Yeah,
and go out there and figure out what ways you can supplement your income and something that gives you ownership and freedom.
yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah,
Mhm.
nail on the head. And so, Alvin, I guess I'll go ahead and I guess I'll
Yeah.
go ahead and call a night. Do you
I
have to
just
work
thought
tomorrow?
about this too. I almost forgot. You asked about other streams of income.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my man, and it's just really weird. We bought a, I
I
bought,
got the stuff in this jacket, right?
yeah, man, right now, man, I can open it up. You know what I mean? We bought a photo booth, the Magic Mirror photo booth for events.
Cool.
Yeah, so whenever the world opens back up, you know what I mean, and we
Yeah,
start doing like weddings and like
I've heard
wedding.
that's pretty lucrative too. There's a buddy of mine at work. He did that for a little while, and then I don't know, something happened. But yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, so ours is pretty. It's pretty cool. I'll send you a video of it after, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But it's pretty dope to be able to have that. That's one of the things that's kind of like is exciting. Be able to go and engage with people in parties and stuff like that.
yeah,
I enjoy being able to let that side out. Let the
yeah,
shoulders.
right. Yeah.
You
Okay.
know?
Well, Alvin, I'm definitely going to have you back on, man. I'm sure you'll probably have a lot more thoughts once you get your your podcast going
Oh
and stuff
yeah,
like
man,
that.
you come be a guest. It's fun.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. I'd love to.
Yeah,
Um, there's just something about the free exchange of ideas, and you challenge me, I challenge you. Iron sharpens iron.
yeah, love that.
Yeah, but man, I appreciate your time. Definitely going to have you back. And if I guess if you're in the Slidell area, or do you just do Slidell primarily, or do you have
Man,
any
I
other?
do everywhere. I'm in literally every. I'm in Slidell, New Orleans, Baton
I'm
Rouge,
literally everywhere at the same time.
wherever I'm. You laugh. I'm serious. Like for my clients, wherever you need me to go, I'm willing to figure out a way to make it
That's
happen.
awesome, man. And I'll tell you this too. So obviously, I'm not an expert yet, but I plan on becoming an expert in digital marketing.
Mhm.
Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, things like that. Because that's what I'm going to have to do for me. And let's talk about it whenever I get to that level. But I'll
Yeah,
I'll, I'll help you out with that too.
definitely appreciate it. I'm looking to turn that stuff over to somebody. So I pay. Look, I pay for services.
There you go.
Yeah,
And I receive payment. So I
yeah,
mean, that's
that's what I'm talking about, man. I appreciate it. Thank you
yeah,
so much for having me.
yeah. You're welcome, man.
It was a good time, man. It was fun. We definitely need to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and looking forward to looking forward to getting to know you more. Even on a personal level too. Maybe you and Brian can go hang out one night and just hang out.
Yeah, get some drinks or something, man. It's always a good time. Well, I
There
don't
you
know if
go,
you
man.
drink, but I will. I drink
Yeah.
some vodka.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll drink a root beer. But
and that's fine. You know what I mean? Up to each his own.
that's it. All right. Well, all right, man. Well, you have a good night. I know your family doesn't know me, but tell them I said hey, and
Definitely.
be careful out there, brother.
All right, man. Appreciate it. You too.
All right, man. Later.
All right.